Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Today we're back with multi-genre author Sean Gregory. Hey, Sean, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me back. It was a pleasure to talk to you last time. Excited to talk to you again this time.
Yeah, likewise. Now, I want to talk today, Sean, all about editing and just the challenges and everything involved with that. So, first, how has working with a professional editor influenced your writing process?
Big time. I got to be honest with you. I made a bigger leap working with professional editors than I ever made. I told you this last time. I started writing and goofing around when I was like 12 years old, but never did anything. Full disclosure, I'm 53 and I just published my first book last year, right? The what happened when the first editor, professional editor that I worked with, Stephen Moore, Condor Publishing, he's out in the UK, did content editing, and he was so brutally honest with everything that was wrong with it. He's like, and he started, and he was like, this is very great, you've got a great thing, but here is why people are not going to get through with it. Here's what you need to fix. Here's what's wrong with it structurally. And I didn't realize, I had no idea how to build a story. Like, I know how to tell a story, but telling a story and building a story are two different things. So the first thing is that it took a professional editor to really look at it. And whether it's, I'm an indie author, so I pay for my editors, I hire them, and I pay them to be honest. I'm like, I need to know everything that's wrong with it. I want it to be the best it can. But even if you're a traditionally published author, those editors want to put the best work forward, and their name's on the line too. So they're going to really take time to help you develop, because they want to see you succeed, because if you succeed, they succeed. And so the first thing it did is it helped me learn how to actually craft and build a story, how to build tension, how to ensure that you have those arcs that you need, the inciting moments and the triggers that send the character off into whatever. The second part was, there were things I didn't even know you were supposed to look at. And, people debate this, ing and ly words, right? Ing, ly, the adjectives and adverbs and overuse or underuse. And, people talk about it all the time. But the other part is, professional editors are very skilled at finding what's wrong. We and another part of it is things that you think are wrong that actually are working. And they are so skilled at finding that without that second, third, fourth, this set of eyes, I tried to be an actor in the 90s, and I learned that it is a communal process. That whether it's a play, whether it's a movie or a television show, you got writers, directors, cinematographers, whatever it is, stagehands, their costume design, it's not just you acting as an actor. And a writer is not writing in a vacuum either. We like to think of it as, most of us are, generally introverted in some way. Most writers want to kind of just write, and they just want to put their book out there. But it's communal. It is a communal process. You must have a second set of eyes. We've all read something 16 times and read it wrong, and then come back to it 6 weeks later and go, oh my God, I totally botched that. Simple sentence, an email, anything. So that's what they've done for me, is they have improved my critical eye, because now there are things I look for, so that when I hand them the next manuscript for book 2, which I'm almost done with, when I hand that to them, it's a little bit better polished than the first manuscript of book 1, which I'm making their jobs easier, but now they can help improve me in other ways.
I love that you said that it is really a team effort. Like just the communal aspect of it, because anything good is. And even though you're the main guy, you're the main character, it's your book, it's your voice, you've written it. To just let the experts do what they do, and to take a step back and allow them to see it from that editing perspective. And like you said, maybe you're great at telling a story, but maybe you're trying to figure out really how to build that in the form of a novel. So I think that's phenomenal feedback. Now, could you walk us through the stages, like just kind of a brief summary of how you typically transition from the draft to the editing? So I know you mentioned you submit a full manuscript, but is there anything else in the stages that gets thrown in?
So we have discussions. So me and the editors, we have a lot of discussions about where we want the book to go, where I'm trying to go. Where's the story going? How does it fit into the world? What's the end game? See, the editors actually know as much about the story as I do by the time they get the manuscript. And especially now in book two, they're very interested in what's going to happen, but they have an inkling of what's going to happen because they know where I'm trying to get by the end of book three. So everything, they need to be in tune in some way so that we do have discussions. I work with Writer's Journey Services for, a second portion of that. And Laura and Arby, hi, I love you guys. Got stuff coming for you. But it's the other editing group that I work with, and they're a team, and they tag team different things, but they're also very in tune with where the next book is going. They know kind of where I need to be at the end of book two. They know where we ended at book one, and they kind of know the path that I need to go. So they know what to look out for. So you got to really communicate, not be afraid to give your secrets away to your editing team. They need to know. They are your partners in this.
Now, that's a great point. What strategies would you say you do use to maintain momentum when you're working on a multiple series simultaneously?
Deadlines, anticipation. I don't have a lot of readers. I haven't sold 1,000 or 100,000 copies. It's only been out for a few months, and I know some people have sold tons more, but I do actually have 100 people who have read the book, who have bought and read the book. And they're in my Discord, and they are like, when's book two coming? And book one just came out in October, and they're like, they want to know what happened. So the first thing is, I've got that anticipation. I've built that, and I've kind of done that on purpose to apply pressure to myself. But then I've given myself a deadline. I've actually already pre-scheduled the editing team. So if I miss my deadline to get them their manuscripts, they're going to move on to their other clients. So I've got a window. And so that forces me into momentum because I am very much ADHD, so I bounce around all over the place. Sometimes I'm painting, and sometimes I'm drawing, and I'm writing, and I'm doing woodwork, and I got a job that I have to do that takes up probably 80 hours of my day. And if I don't give myself a deadline, I won't hit. It literally, if you don't make a time constraint, you'll never get it done.
Yes,
And
that's so true.
yeah, and the other part that it does, and I'll be honest with you, for me, and I recommend this for anybody who struggles with this, is it prevents you from over self-editing along the way. You see, you can't get to the end if you're stuck in chapter 3 for 6 weeks editing it. So I
Yep.
just write. I just get down, I write, and then I word vomit. I give myself 2 weeks to do that first revision before I hand it to the editing team.
Yeah, and all that you just talked about, those are great ways to, and even in our first interview when we talked about the writing process and inspiration, I think all the tips you gave were great, really, for balancing creative freedom while also meeting all those technical demands of the storytelling.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, because it isn't about painting you in a box. It's about
Mhm.
allowing you to do it in a book that's not so long a reader's going to get bored, and not so short you skip all the important parts.
Well, Sean, thank you so much. That was wonderful input on challenges and editing.
My absolute pleasure. It's good to see you again.
You too. Now, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's interview with multi-genre author Sean Gregory. Be sure to check out our website for more videos. Wishing you all a fulfilling and successful writing journey.